everybody? This is your man, Prince Solomon. P Solo back in the building again. Let's get into it, boys and girls. The Game, Chuck Taylor, is going to be coming back outside once again. Folks, if you guys recall, if you've been listening and you've been on this wonderful hip-hop Taco Bell beef journey with us, you guys know that we did call that The Game would come outside to diss Rick Ross. You guys know that The Game has thrown some shots, some body blows at a much bigger and bloated Rick Ross at the time. And one thing about that Southern blob, he's taken every blow to the stomach, in the face, no Diddy or the Clips. For that being the case, ladies and gentlemen, the Rick Ross saga has developed somewhat of a story in Drake's arc, of course. We guys know about the history between the two guys, and for whatever reason, they've fallen out, just like a lot of times with guys in the industry. You guys know what it is, girls, mean boys, whatever the case is. But The Game will be back outside. We talked about it in 2024. The Game was going to be dissing Rick Ross. The Game has been putting the final touches on the documentary 3, okay? And of course, The Game has shown his support for Drake even when Drake was down and out, when nobody wanted to be around the Snow Walker. I mean, a lot of people abandoned Drake. Hell, even LeBron James switched teams. He traded Drake out for Kendrick Lamar. The only few people that stayed around, especially considering a West Coast legend like The Game, was Chuck. Chuck stayed there through and through. Drake has been able to heal. He's been outside. The Iceman album and his Iceman campaign has been doing very well. He's on par right now to sell north of 700,000 units in 1 week. Of course, collectively with all 3 albums. Now, in this modern day and time when artists such as Chris Brown are getting embarrassed for selling 70,000 units, it's only because Chris Brown is an R&B pop star and, for the most part, a veteran in the game. Drake comes out and he freezes the Billboard charts. So, Rick Ross has been activated. Now, there are shots at Jay-Z all through the album of Iceman, and Rick Ross has been taking his shots at Drake. Not only that, Rick Ross made sure he was a standout with Champagne Moment, and he's continuing it. Now, he prematurely jumped out there and said that the Iceman was a flop. Nobody's listening to it.
Damn. Niggas say 3 albums are trash albums, 2 years too late. What site is this? Complex? The Glazer University.
But there seems to be a counter-narrative online, and there is a heated and yet spirited discussion about the relevance of Drake and what is he going to do, and is he supposed to be taking shots at Jay-Z? But The Game will be back outside. The Game has a lot to say on his documentary 3. He's shown his support for Drake all through this climate. Now it looks like the Iceman rollout has been off to a grand start. And at this point in time, Rick Ross has been outside. He recently was on the PBD podcast, and he was talking about how much of the album was a flop and how he laughed at it. And keep this in mind, Rick Ross, by no stretch of the imagination, is not pro Jay-Z. He is 100%. Even when Rick Ross was getting into it with Mal and Rory, and he decided to draw in Mal's older brother, Biggs. And let's just say, Rick Ross got very, very, very Studio 54 explicit, X-rated with his mouth. And again, she didn't even know it, Rick, or same hoes Rick, was nowhere to be found around Diddy when he was making these statements about Biggs' mouth. Now, Rick Ross seemed to have had a temper tantrum, especially all through this week. I think Drake and the Iceman rollout has made Rick Ross a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more agitated, and a little bit more progressive than he normally is. Of course, he has a book to promote in the process, but Rick Ross did receive a phone call. And for whatever reason, Rick Ross turned around and basically apologized for speaking out of line against Biggs while he was attacking his little brother.
Say this, hey Biggs, Burke, you got somebody that love you. You got somebody that really love you. I'm gonna leave it at that.
With that being the case, one can only speculate that it could have been someone loosely tied to Roc Nation, Jay-Z, or Jay-Z affiliate. Whoever it was, it made Rick Ross apologize, which is something he rarely does, okay? We're talking about a man that spent the large majority of his career with his man boobs out around everyone with no type of regret. So I don't expect too many apologies from Rick Ross, which is why it was a bit surprising to see him issue an apology. So that means somebody that Rick Ross considers to have considerable influence and that he possibly admires and respects asked him to apologize. Dial it back. Dial it back. Now, the game, on the other hand, is getting started. He will be back outside. He will have some more smoke for Kendrick Lamar. He will be dissing Rick Ross, just like we said he was going to come outside in 2024. And the game did come outside in 2024, and he had some things to get off of his chest concerning Rick Ross. Because at the end of the day, the game is going to stay 10 toes down with Drake. And considering his dynamics and where his legacy has been placed in his career, you can only speculate as to several reasons why. Some have stated that maybe in the grand story arc of Kendrick Lamar, that somehow the game and his contributions to bringing back the West Coast for a new generation has been largely ignored. And the game will be continuing his marquee album title in its trilogy with the documentary 3. There's only a good chance that he has more shots for Kendrick Lamar, and yes, he will more than likely have some shots for Rick Ross. Drop your comments below, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about this Taco Bell beef that continues to get nastier and nastier and nastier? I'm your man Prince Allen, P Solo. Peace.
Stop crimes.
I used to wanna be on Rockefeller, then I turned into Jay.
Y'all niggas still signing deals, still, after all they done stole.
Sold ecstasy and disappeared, I am Houdini.
Stop crimes.
I don't have no rapper friends, I hang with the vultures.
Nigga, we having the best divorce ever. If we go to court, we'll go to court together.
Did it with integrity. These boys try to hate on me, just wait and see. More blood be spilling, it's just pain to me. Dangerously, ain't no changing me, ain't no shaming me.
Atlanta nigga, live like Ted Turner type shit. On camera, bruh, knock jaws loose type shit.
Niggas so thirsty to put me in beef. Dissecting my words and start looking too deep. I look at the tweets and start sucking my teeth. I'm letting it rock cause I love the mystique.
I got friends, I got foes, but they all sitting ducks. Hit his turf and get cracking, double back like a deluxe.
You try and rob me and it's gon' feel like you sitting at your favorite restaurant. Cause nigga, that's where you dine at.
Hold up, hold my bullet, proof vest. When we survive, know that we blessed.
From the tribe of Judah, I'm Mufasa.
Lucian is cool, but Lucian don't write it. Doug ain't this tight.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Let's get ready to rumble!
Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Black folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
If he dies, he dies.
Go to our Patreon for more. And don't bother me.